You know, you want to be the first one to go to work. And so that's the deal. So officers in the house, fire officers in the house. Hands, anybody? Yeah, couple embarrassed to say they're officers. Okay, I get it. I don't blame them. Y'all probably suck anyway, so firemen don't like you. It's okay. It's all right. They don't take it personally. All right. So, you know, size up is a big deal, right? And who sizes up the fire ground? Yeah, hell yeah. Everybody sizes up the fire ground, right? You know, if you're riding on the back, if you're a tailboard fireman and you're back there just sitting on your hands and you know, playing on your phone and doing whatever the hell you're doing on social media on the way to the fire, you know, posting selfies on the back of the truck, hey, going to get some work, you know, and not paying attention, you know, and the officer gets there, yeah, he's got to do a size up. He's looking out the window. Hopefully he's not sending selfies, but in this day and age, who knows? You know, but you need to be sizing this thing up too. If you're on the back of the fire truck, you need to be paying attention to what the hell is going on, right? You need to be looking around and seeing what's happening. And these are the questions you need to ask yourself. You know, when you pull up on the fire ground, you know, you need to be thinking, does anybody have a nightmare address in your still alarm area? Anybody got any of those? Yeah, right? So, you know, 401 South McDowell was always one of mine. I spent a lot of years on Engine 1. 401 South McDowell, the old Cameron Brown building, was one of my nightmare addresses. You know, it was 14 stories. It was unsprinklered. No phase one on the elevators. You know, so it was a walk up every single time. At least on the A shift it was, because we were real firemen. You know, I can't speak for the other two shifts. I know the other two shifts get pissed off whenever I worked with them because we walked up and they weren't happy. But that's okay. They got stronger for it. But, you know, so your nightmare addresses, when that address comes in, is that when the size up can start? Yeah, hell yeah, it is. You know, you start thinking about, where is the FDC? What's my water supply? What are my hazards there? You know, if it's an address you're not familiar with, you know, that's okay. You can listen to who's around it. But you pull up and you look and you see what's going on, you know, you need to ask yourself these questions. Where is the fire? Where is it right now? Where is it right this second? You know, and you really need to think about, where's this fire going to be? In the absence of me doing anything, or any C shifters in the house. Any C shifters? Raise your hand. Be proud. Be proud. Yeah, okay. In the absence, if C shift shows up, 10 minutes from now when you haven't done anything, right? So, oh shit, I said C shift. I meant D shift. Never mind. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to hurt any feelings. Yeah, I really did. I did. I meant to hurt this stuff. So, you know, where's the fire going to be 10 minutes from now, right? If you don't do anything, because what's the difference between where's the fire now, where it's going to be 10 minutes from now? That's where you need to go, right? You need to get between those 2 points. If you're looking ahead and you know where the fire's headed and where it is right now, getting between those 2 points is how you make a difference, right? Not necessarily going directly to the fire, right? That moth to the flame. Get between where it's headed. Shut that shit down, right? That's a good way to get ahead of the fire. You know, resources. Internal and external. Does anybody know the difference between those two? Internal resources. Who do you have on the truck with you? You know, if you're a fireman, who's the other fireman on the back? Who's your officer? Who's your driver? Do any of those make a difference? Hell yeah, they do. Absolutely. And don't tell me they don't. I know. And if you're an officer, does it make a difference who you have on the back of the company? Yes. Does it make a difference who you have driving you? Hell yes, it does. You know, I mean, don't kid yourself. It absolutely makes a difference. So, you know, you need to know what those internal resources are. Now your external resources. Who's coming? You know, who do you have coming? Most of the years I was on Engine 1, guess who I had coming? This guy. Do you think I worried about anything? No, absolutely not. Hell, I knew Benny was coming. All I had to do was hold fast until he got there so he could tell me what to do. As he's calling me stupid. Boy, what were you thinking? So, you know, It's real. Internal, external resources. Think about that when you're doing your size up. Really, really important stuff. Before you guys get spun out about an hour-long PowerPoint presentation, guys, heads up. This is like 7 or 8 slides. This thing can be over in 10 minutes, so y'all keep it quiet. Don't ask any questions. We can wrap this thing up. All right. Engine company stuff. We're not going to talk about the clown bus or the water supply unit. That would be the squad. All right. We're going to talk about engine stuff. When you get there, these are the primary functions of an engine company. Yes. I know 70% of your job is medical. I get it. And we don't give a shit about that. So, we're talking about fire stuff now, stuff that really makes a difference. So, establishing a water supply. Hydrants, tankers, how are you doing it? Do we have anybody here that's volunteer, runs primarily rural districts? Anybody? Yeah, even, if you're volunteer, career, I get it, but you're running rural districts where you've got, you're relying on tankers. Kind of a big deal, right? So, if we're talking about hydrants, if we're talking about a hydranted area, do you drop dry? Do you drive past a hydrant, hope for your external resources to bring water? How do you establish water? What makes that call for you guys? Somebody, anybody? Anybody want to pitch out?
How far away is it?
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, how far away is your second due company, right? So, how advanced is the fire? All those things, are playing a part, right? So you have to think about all these things. There's a lot of things going on inside your head that you need to be paying attention to. So, rural hitches. If you're in rural districts, you can go in, drop a line at the top of a driveway. If you're laying in 1,000 feet to get some of these offsets, do you want to have all your tankers pulling in this driveway with you? No, you all got LDH on your rig. Put the shit on the ground, right? Why aren't we scared to lay a line when we're going in, right? Wrap a mailbox post, pull in there, and let the tankers sit out on the street where they can turn around, right? Pay attention to this stuff, all right? So, stretching the appropriate attack line. That's kind of important, wouldn't you say? Right? That's how we're going to put fires out. For all the truckies, this is where you guys are going to kind of phase out. We're not going to talk about roof venting and whatever the hell else y'all do. Y'all's, what is it, 11, 14, 37 job functions y'all have? Three. That's what we got. 3 that are very fucking important. All right. So, stretching the appropriate hose line. Hose load. That's the how. How are we going to put the hose on the truck to rapidly and effectively deploy the hose line, right? Flat loads, triple folds, Minutemans. Which one is the best? Let's hear it from you Nozzle forward, guys. I know you're out there. Somebody say it. Please say it. Please say it.
All of us, Philip.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes, hell yes. So let me ask you this. So flat load, triple fold, Minuteman. What's the best caliber for self-defense? 380, 9mm, 45, 40. What's the best caliber? It's the one you practice with, right? It's the one you train with. It's the one you're the most accurate with. I don't give a damn what kind of hose load you got on the truck. It doesn't matter to me. Hell, I can pull all of them. I mean, that's assuming I would actually show up on one of your fires. I'm not worried about it because, I practiced my skill sets. I've pulled all the hose loads. So I'm not worried about what you got on the truck. But if you got a bunch of jackwagons on your truck that have never trained with it, and you throw them on something, and then they're going to try to figure this thing out at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? That's when it's going to happen. One thing about it, and I will say this, for the Minuteman guys, I know it's all the latest fad and everything. Guys, I hate to break it to you, that's not a new thing. It's not new. That shit was around in the 50s, right? Right, Benny? It's not.
I learned from the guys in the 30s.
Right, absolutely. When you're what's up, Trigger? All right. They're feeding your horses and shit. How did you have to shod those horses when they had to go through shoes pulling that big ass engine? Oh my God, I can only imagine. course, it was all dirt roads back then. We didn't have pavement. All right. But no, seriously, the thing, for the Minuteman folks out there, here's the one thing I'm going to challenge you with. If you need to make a line and you need 50 feet to make a line, think about that. Think about options on a hose load. You can throw rocks at flat load all you want to. You can throw rocks at flat load all day. Okay? I'll just go ahead and tell you. I'm going to beat your ass every single day pulling a flat load. You can pull whatever hose load you want to. I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to take the nozzle where I want it. I'm going to have the hose that I need when I get there every single time. That's because I've trained with it. Look, I tried to sell a lot of departments on the Minuteman way back in the day. Here's the problem with it. If I need 50, I can get 50 off a flat load. If you need 50 on a Minuteman, you got to pull the whole damn thing, right? I mean, it just is. So, and that's the big thing. You need to be really dynamic and think about what you're doing on this. So don't when some people come down and say, this is the new latest and greatest thing, don't sell your soul to the devil. You need to get out there and train with all the loads. Practice with everything out there and see what works best with your people on your company. Don't just buy into whatever the latest thing is. That's all I'm going to say about that. But train. Whatever you pick, whatever you like, whatever gets you to get your ass off the couch. Quit watching Oprah and get out on the drill ground and actually do some shit. I don't care what kind of hose load you put on it, but make sure you train with it. Hose diameter, that's the what. Okay? This is kind of a big deal. 1 3/4, 2.5, 2 inch, don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me what you're going to pull, right? When you make the choice on which line to pull. Yeah, big fire, big water, right? Big fire, big water. That's classic, man. I mean, that's old school shit right there. What about a small house with 2 rooms off? You're short staffed, right? Can you pull a big line, knock the dog shit out of that fire, and then transition into the attack with a smaller line to go in and make the push and clean up? Yes. How many people have read Critical Flow Rate? This is from Fire Engineering 1992. Yeah, I know. Most of you aren't born. Okay? I get that. So, go back, look up Critical Flow Rate. Read that story, read that article, understand the math. Spend some time on it. You can Google it. It's out there. Okay? Critical Flow Rate. It's an incredible article. Probably that was a turning point in my development as an engine company firefighter. When I read that one, I'd already read Laban's book, Little Drops of Water. So I'd already read his book and The Art of Transitional Attack. So, if you've read that, you've read Critical Flow Rate, you don't need to read anything else in the fire service. All the rest of it's bullshit. So, but if you read those two, that's really important. But hose diameter size is kind of a big deal, right? 1 3/4, what's that for? Right? Room and contents. So we go on commercial fires. How many people have been to the commercial fire? The big one. The one we all talk about. Holy hell, man, I hope this happens when I'm working. And you get there, and the first line that was pulled was 1 3/4. How many people have been to that fire? Show of hands. Nobody's going to judge, right? Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay? So, how many people have seen the video for the Station nightclub fire? Right? Has anybody seen that one? The Station? Okay? So, we lost, 100 civilians died in that fire. When the fire department got there were people actively burning on the front deck, wedged in the door. This thing was burning all over. What was the first line off on that fire? It was 1.5 inches. But, semantics. Why did that firefighter, he's riding a ladder, just saying, why did that firefighter pull 1.5 inches on that fire?
Complacency.
Hell yes. Every fire that guy had been to up to that point, that 1.5 line had nailed it. He had it ingrained in him that this line works every time. Why? Because it had. It had always worked. He didn't have the training, he didn't have the backing, he didn't have the support of his superiors to say, think. That's all you need, right? Think. Think about what you're doing. Think about why you're doing it. Size up is kind of a big deal, right? When you pull up, think about the volume of fire and how much you need to know how much water that 1.5 inch, 1 3/4, 2.5, this nozzle, that nozzle, whatever the hell you've got is putting out. This water can, how much fire can you put out with a water can? A shit ton if you know what you're doing, right? Am I right? Yes, if you know what you're doing, you know how to isolate a room and you know how to do all this stuff, water can's an effective tool. But, I'm not saying anything is right, wrong, bad, good. I'm just saying you need to know. Knowledge is the key, right? Knowledge is the big secret on this whole deal. Hose diameter, the what? Hose placement. Remember that first slide? Important stuff, right? Don't be that moth to the flame. Maybe going directly to the fire is not the answer. You ever thought about that? Right? Maybe going down the throat of the fire is not the answer. Maybe there's a better way. How do you figure that out? Think, right? Look ahead. Again, where is it now? Where is it going? Let's get between those two. And I'm kind of not flying in the face of hose line placement. We've all read the books, right? Norman and Clark and all those. The first line goes to the fire. The second line goes to back up the first. Third line goes to get between the fire and the victims. Fourth line goes to protect the interior stair, right? I mean, it's just boom, boom, boom. It's like that. Are fires like that? No, they're not. It's easy as shit to write that book. It's easy to sit down in your study and type this thing out, right? Fires aren't like that. They're not. You have to be very dynamic. Sometimes going down the throat is not the answer. Sometimes you need to go around back and flank it, right? And that's okay. Sometimes your first line needs to be an exposure line. Right? Yeah? Okay. For all you folks that are hell-bent on smoothbore nozzles on your monitors, right on your deck guns, for all those guys, I get it. That shit looks cool. Slings a shit ton of water. What are the majority of the houses in your neighborhoods sided with? Vinyl, right? Yeah. How are you going to put that as an exposure line? If you're throwing an 1 3/4 or 1 3/4 bore of water at this, what's it going to do to that house? You're going to do more damage than damn fire did. But if you've got a broken pattern, right, you can wet the house and do that. If you need exposure protection, you need that right now. If you need reach and penetration on a fire, guess what you have? Time. Just something to think about. Just saying. Nozzle selection. Okay? Deliver an effective fire stream. I am not going to get in an argument about nozzles. Okay? It's too easy. It really is. It's too easy. It's bait and switch time right here. Okay? Smooth bores versus fog. How many smooth bore guys we got? Raise your hands. Be proud. Be proud. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. It's okay. It's okay. How many combinations of guys we got? Okay, right? Yeah, hell yeah. It's both. Absolutely. We got a bunch of people who didn't raise their hands. I think we got more truckies in the room than we had admitted at first.
We got smooth bore on the tip there. That
You're compensating for small penis, but it's okay. So, no, seriously. So, when, an 1 3/4 attack line with a smooth bore nozzle that you're going to be dragging down a hallway, what is it really, really good at? Putting out fire, right? I think we can all come to an agreement on that. A smooth bore nozzle, 15/16 tip on an 1 3/4 line is an absolute fire slayer. I'm not going to argue that fact. However, once you put said fire out, what else is it good for? Not a damn thing. Nothing. Nothing. If you're going into a 10 by 10 bedroom, you're going to have to crawl down a hallway. How many GPM do you need to put out a 10 by 10 bedroom? 185? I mean, you need all that you've got, right? Obviously. But could a combination nozzle not offer you more options? Go in there and knock that fire out, make it to a window, and hydraulically vent? Just saying. Just things to think about. When are smoothbores absolutely imperative? Yeah, reach and penetration, commercial structures, unvented fires. What's that? Yeah, high rise, right? Operating off the standpipe. How many people in here have ever operated off the standpipe system or operated in an environment where they could operate off the standpipe system? Yeah, a couple of us, right? Okay. Guys, that was mine and Captain Clark's whole career for the most part. I mean, we were standpipe firemen, right? I've got a coffee can full of debris. I was really fortunate that I was in the good graces of our Fire Prevention Bureau. They knew that every time that they needed to do a standpipe test, if they called me, I got a couple hours of training that I could document out of it, and they got a company that wasn't going to piss and moan about coming out there and doing some work, right? So we did all the standpipe tests that Benny didn't cheat me out of. And I really tried to cheat him out every once. It's mutual, okay? But every standpipe test that I did, I took debris out of the standpipe. When it would flow, there was debris in every single standpipe. Yes, sir? The one that we broke?
The one that shook the deals and then
Yes, yeah. So we were doing a class on engine company ops, 230 South Trine Street, and so we've got some big wheels from other departments in here, and Captain Clark and I are with this class, and we go to charge the initial line, and water's flowing, starts to sputter, and this whole building shook. The whole stairwell shook. It sounded like a bomb went off, and water stopped. And there was a piece of debris lodged in the standpipe that broke the system. This actually happens, guys. Now that one right there was insurmountable. We were just screwed. Luckily, it was a class for us. But I took debris out of every standpipe test that I did. Gravel, just you name it, matchbox cars. I've seen all kind of crap that people shove into the FDCs. If you ever work in the bar district, you see it. People shove things in the FDCs. All that's coming to your nozzle. If you have a combination nozzle, if you're a fire chief that demands that your companies carry combination nozzles to operate off standpipes, you are a piece of shit. Okay? So, just saying. Fire me. Okay? Alright. So, but you need to understand that all of that debris is coming to your nozzle. 1.25 inches will do a great deal to pass. 1.25 inch tip will pass a ton of debris if you're operating off standpipes. Guys, if you've got a combination nozzle on your high-rise pack, change that tomorrow. Change it tomorrow. Don't do that to yourself, because it's too late to find out once that happens. It's too late, okay? So smoothbores, combinations, they all have a place. They're all good tools. It's just about how you use them. All right, so again, when I was in the game, I went to a lot of training. I went and sought out people to listen to. And one of the big things I really enjoyed was going and listening to military folks speak about tactics and strategies in combat. And pretty early on, I found a direct correlation to small unit tactics, spec ops guys, and the fire service, right? And this is one of the mantras they've got. You know, coordinated movement. Everybody knows where the other guy is. Everybody has a sector of fire. Everybody knows what the other guy's looking for. Does that sound like an engine company? If you're a well-trained engine company and you do what you're supposed to do and you get out there and drill with your guys, you should know exactly where everybody's at on the line. Violence of action. Big lines, right? Effective, right? Be aggressive on this thing. An effective fire down range. The right fire stream to the right place every single time. Right? That's what engine companies do if you want to make a difference. If you want to be that engine company that the chiefs love to see show up. If you want to be the engine company that when you show up, the chief walks up to the officer, grabs him by the air pack strap and says, "Where the hell have you been?" This is what you do. Right? This is what you do. How do you develop this on your company? Drill. Drill every damn day. Do you know what Sunday is in a firehouse? It's another day. It's just like Christmas. It's another day. Right? Celebrate your birthday tomorrow. It's all right. It's okay. Right? Celebrate Christmas tomorrow. It's okay. Now, guys, I'm not talking about, get out there and drill for hours. Where did Bree go? You've been on some of my drills, right? How long did that shit take? 15, 20 minutes, right? I had to do this because I've got the attention span of a squirrel. Somebody saw me pick up a penny out there. I saw something shiny on the floor. I've got to stop and pick that shit up. I can't focus for anything, right? So I can't do these big, long, drawn-out drills. I'm not talking about some big, grandiose, 3 lines on the ground, water supply. Guys, if you can't do a drill in 15 or 20 minutes, you're going to lose your audience. You're going to lose your firemen. They're not going to stick with you on that. If you can keep this thing short, concise, and focused. I want to talk about this. Here it is. Boom. Okay? What else am I good at? Eating, right? Hell yeah. Has anybody ever eaten his jambalaya? Oh my God. That kid can cook. What was your job every time you walked in the firehouse for me? Cook. You damn right. I don't care who the cook was. Fired. Friends cook. Oh shit. All right. All right. All right, so how do we get better? Practice and training, right? Get out there and do this thing, guys. Practice. Practice is a lot of reps. Light load. That's this. We're practicing right now. We're talking about what we're going to do. We're going to get out there. We're sitting around the dinner table talking about that target hazard, right? That nightmare. That's how we get better. People discount that. How many guys have a bowl in the center of your kitchen table, and when you sit down, all the foams go in it? Implement that shit. Get rid of the foam. When you're at the table, it's time to be there with your brothers and sisters, right? Put that foam down. Guess what? You can live without the damn interwebs for about 15, 20 minutes while you eat, and if you're a rookie, for 30 minutes while you get your ass up and wash dishes. Okay? You can do that thing. But sit down and talk about stuff, right? Get to know people, but you can also talk about fires. When you get back from a call, right? That's a good time to sit down and talk about what went on. Here's another thing. Company officers again, where you at? Company officers again. All right. Here's another thing. This is Captain Thunderbird. I don't know. A few guys remember Captain Thunderbird, right? Yeah. Man, he was a charm, wasn't he? It's got not a lot of personality. Not a lot. But he was a bad son of a bitch. He was tough. So, you're on a medical call. You've done all the critical stuff, right? I mean, you've done all the stuff you need to do. And most of the calls, let's face it, we go on. Some dick pain calls. So we're up in there, and we've done our vitals and gotten all the information we need. And you feel this on your shoulder. And Captain Thunderbird leans down and says, if you had to get a nozzle right here because this dude is on fire, how much hose is it going to take? And then he turns around and walks off. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, guy. Really? Really? But yeah, if you had to get a nozzle right here because this is your fire, how much line is that going to take? You know what that does? Makes you think about it. Makes you think about it. We're up in here in the middle of some dick paint calls in the project. And Captain Funderburk's asking me, how are we going to get a nozzle on this guy? Look, man, I want to go back to bed. I don't know. I don't know. What are you asking? But that's how we start thinking, right? That's how you start estimating hose stretches. These little things that people have forgotten because we've gotten so reliant on what? A 200-foot pre-connect, right? Yeah. So think about these things. Then we get into training. Training is work under load. That's when you're going to get out there, put the gear on, actually stretch some hose, actually do stuff, right? There's a difference. Get out there and work. If you're going to work, friggin' work hard, right? So, you know, we had a pissing contest at one for a lot of years, and we finally just warmed down. But one of the other shifts was hell-bent to have a triple fold. We were big on flat load, so we would come in every day, pull all the lines off, repack them, and then they would have to come in the next day and maybe pull the lines off, but at some point during the day and repack them. We did all that before 0800. So, we're out there 7:10 in the morning and pulling hose off the truck, repacking it the way we want it. Because at 0800, what happens? It's ours. We own it, right? We can't bitch about them at 0800. Any problems in the firehouse, you own it at 0800. Guess what? When your shift's working, that's your problem, right? So we fixed it before. So after about 3 weeks of this thing, Captain comes to me, the other officer, he says, hey man, how long are we going to keep this up? I said, what? He said, this whole hose thing, how long is this going to go on? I said, man, I didn't even know it was a thing. You're giving me a training opportunity. My guys are going to come in every day and put their hands on the nozzle. Every single day. They're going to put a hand on every nozzle on the truck. Every pre-connect, they're going to put a hand on it. High-rise packs, put a hand on the nozzle. The hydrant bundle, put a hand on it. Make sure we've got the connection. Every day. When you walk in, before you put your gear on the truck, that's what you do. Walk by the back of the truck, boom, boom, boom. Here's my lines. Right here's my hydrant bundle. Now I'm going to go get my gear, relieve my guy. Okay? So I said, you're giving me a training opportunity. We come in, it's triple folded. We don't like it. It's okay. We're not complaining. We're going to pull it off. We're going to flat load it. We're pulling your line so if we get caught before we have a chance to reload it, we're proficient with it. So that's a win. We're loading our line so we're proficient with it. That's a win. So we're good. We're solid. Guess what we've done today? By 7:20, done with training. Right? Hell yeah, we got no bitches. No complaints. We're good. I said, so this will go on until y'all get tired, because I promise you, you will get tired before we will. Okay? Now, why was I a big proponent of putting hands on nozzles? Yeah, well, let's talk about war stories. So, we go on our 4-day break, right? We leave. The company's in service. Everything's squared away. A shift takes the truck to the shop the next day. PM. So they switch out into a reserve piece. We come back. 4 days. 96 hours. The reserve piece is still in the station. My guys come in, do what they do, go to the back of the truck, put hands on nozzles. Problem is, none. No nozzles. Not one. Not a nozzle. None in the compartments, none on the pre-connects, none anywhere. Not a damn nozzle to be found. The closest nozzle was on the ladder company. Yep, hell froze over. Yeah. Thank God you guys are there. Thank God for the ladders.
I donated.
All right. 96 hours on one of the busiest engines in the city. 2 shifts working. back to back. Not one son of a bitch called. There wasn't a nozzle on the truck. Not one. Guys, this is my reality. That's the fire service, right? Insert fire department name here. I'm not throwing rocks at anybody. This shit happens. It can happen here. It can happen there. It can happen any damn where. Right? Because people are lazy, and by and large, they're turds, right? You've got to want to be good. You have to want to be good. It's easy to be a piece of garbage. It's really easy to be a piece of garbage. I'm one now. Hell, just ask, where's Jacob? Where the hell did he go? Okay, I'm one now, right? At the volleys, right? Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm a piece of garbage at the volleys. So you have to want to be good, but pay attention to this stuff, guys. Okay? All right? Now, let's segue just a minute. Shit. Let's talk about, the rest of it. So we're going to do all this high-speed, low-drag stuff, right? We're going to be dragging lines and saving lives and changing diapers or whatever the hell else y'all do. So we're going to do all this cool stuff. And for the latter guys, y'all are going to do all y'all's job functions. I don't remember what they are and don't really care. Squads are going to be setting the light. I think that's all push button now. They don't have to do anything manually. But for engine company stuff, if you're dragging lines and doing all that stuff, that's kind of hard. That's work, right? Does anybody know what the heart attack statistics are? What the percentage of heart attacks and the risk of dying 100 times during fire operations, 100 times greater than just an average person during fire ops, because it's hard work, right? What can we do to set ourselves up for success? What's the one thing that we can control for our success on the fire ground? Hose lines, all that other stuff aside, what can we do personally to set ourselves up for success?
Work out.
Yeah, be fit, right? Be fit. That's the one thing that you can control. That's the one thing that you have that you can fix. It doesn't matter what your chief's name is, or what you have to do, or what your job assignment is. Doesn't matter. You can control your fitness. That's a choice that you make. Okay? So, don't ever let your fitness be the deciding factor in your performance on the fire ground. Don't ever do that. I'm going to ask you guys a question. So, Chief Folk, you got caught in a floor collapse, right? So you've done that. I had an attic drop out from under me, so I was just on the other side of it. So I know some other folks have been pinned, the Paul Park deal, and all this other stuff. I know there's some people in this room that have been through some pretty treacherous shit. But let me ask you a question. What's worse than laying on the floor under a pile of debris, thinking to yourself, God dang, man, if I'd done a few more push-ups, I could probably get out of this? What's worse than that? No. If it's your buddy in there and your fat ass is outside puking, then the last thing you can think about is putting that mask back on and going in and getting your buddy. Right? There's no excuse. Guys, I'm sorry. Like I said, if you're sensitive, just get out now. But this is a reality. This is something we can control. This is a choice we have to make. Don't let your fitness be the deciding factor. If you get caught, that's one thing, right? But if it's your buddy in there, you need to be able to react. You need to be able to do something and fix that shit. Does anybody remember Lower Car? You remember Lower? You remember Lower, I know you do. So Lower and I went through recruit school together, and we're making the push down in Clanton Park, and we're going down the hallway, and we cut into the bedroom, and it was just one big collapse. It's just sheetrock, thank God. But it scared the shit out of me. I was still a rookie. I didn't know. But everything, the whole ceiling just dropped all of a sudden, and I'm sitting there, and lower was just gone. He disappeared. He was no longer there. And, all I'd heard was, the bowstring roof and, the collapse, and you're going to die, and there's all these nightmare stories. They put in hack and sack, that's all I'm thinking, because that's all I knew. And all of a sudden, lower's gone. Right? Thankfully, I was able to react, trail the line in, and and help him stand up. That's really all he had to do. But I can only imagine if I'm sitting there, sucking buttermilk, trying to breathe, right? And that happened, and I wasn't able to react to that. How are you going to live with that, right? So, guys, take your fitness seriously. I'm 54 years old. I worked in uptown companies my whole career, high op tempos, and I would like for all of you guys to be able to retire and live the life that I'm living now. Now, I may fall over with a heart attack right now. We don't know when our last heartbeat's going to hit, but right now I'm good, right? And that's my dream for all of you guys. Make it to retirement. Here's a hint. Don't stay 1 second longer than you absolutely have to. Not one. Not one. Okay? When you can go, get the hell out. But, live your best life. Nutrition is very important. It's hard in a firehouse. It's really hard. But you've got to change that culture somehow, right? Benny, damn. How was it? We ate so well and so much, and just, oh my God, so good. And and quickly. And ate a bunch of cold food. That's got to cause cancer, eating cold meals. So, but guys, you can make a choice. You guys are in a position to change the culture. You guys are in a position to make that change. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to do it. We don't have time for that. But think about what you're doing to your body and how it's good. Don't think about how you are right now. You guys are all 20-somethings, 30-somethings, 10 feet tall, bulletproof. Nothing's going to hurt you. What are you going to be 20 years from now? Right? Just take a second and digest that. What are you going to be 20 years from now? What do you want to be 20 years from now? Think about that. Okay? All right. You guys don't ask a lot of questions, and that's pretty awesome. So, heart disease, we've already talked about that. We know what one of the big killers, everybody talks about heart disease in the fire service. Cancer's a new big thing. I know the chiefs are dealing with that, with laundering gear and changing out hoods, and we've made huge gains in that. The absorption thing with trying to prevent cancer. I was a proponent. I was on board way back. I figured out pretty early, we're not dying of what we're exposed to on the fire ground. We're dying from what we're exposed to in the cab of that truck, riding around with it every single day. When we're on the fire ground, we're doing what? Wearing the mask, right? We're protected. We get on the rig, throw our shit, next to us, and we take off down the road. We're breathing the same thing for days because we don't want to launder our gear. Why? Because we don't want to look like a rookie. Guess what? You're all rookies. There, I said it. Okay? All right. So, think about that. Keep your gear laundered. Now, PTSD. 22 veterans a day. 22 veterans a day commit suicide, and the vast majority of those are attributed to PTSD. Of the 22 veterans a day that commit suicide, how many of those veterans do you think were actually engaged in combat, front and center, and actually doing shit? where they're FaceTime with the people they're dealing with. Guess what? You guys are every single day. You're engaged with the people that you're treating. Okay? PTSD is a thing. Most people that aren't in the fire service have no comprehension of what you see. You can't talk about it. You can't draw pictures. If you showed them videos of what you actually did, they wouldn't understand, because most of it would be black, because you can't see how we operate. And you guys that have found a fire victim in a house, you know that after you find your first fire victim, every pillow you bump into, everything that you run into inside the house that's not where it should be has eyeballs. Right? Am I right? For those that have found victims, right? So, dealing with shooting victims, car wreck victims, all of this stuff that we see creates skeletons in your closet, guys. It's baggage. You don't think about it. We're all tough. We're all hardcore. We don't, that shit's not going to affect me because I'm 10 feet tall and bulletproof. PTSD is a thing. Nobody wants to talk about it. I will. Okay? If you think that you're symptomatic, if you don't feel right, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're having trouble with relationships, if you're not eating, if you used to work out all the time and you no longer want to work out, if you never worked out and all of a sudden all you want to do is work out, if you have these sudden changes in your behavior, whatever the case may be, look, how many Charlotte firemen we got here? Look at your benefit card. Somebody pull your benefit card. Anybody got their insurance card in your wallet? Anybody got one? Yeah, just pull it out and look at the back of the card. Look at the back of the card. It's about midway down, where it talks about emotional health, right? Yeah, guys, call that number. Call that number. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. 103 firefighters, 2017, bear with me. You guys know that the results are the numbers. What does it say on that? It's emotional, support. Yeah, mental health. Yeah, that's the number. That's the one you want to call right there, right? So don't hesitate. So what do the numbers say right here? 2017 related statistics. More guys are dying by suicide than dying at fires. We want to talk about how dangerous this job is. Shit, man, we're more dangerous to ourselves, right? So let me tell you my story. Just so everybody knows, it's okay to talk about it, right? It's okay. You're not going to lose man points for this. Or maybe I will. I don't give a shit. I don't, you don't walk out now. I don't care. But here's the thing. Here's my story. So, I was a firefighter at Engine 2. I was a firefighter at Engine 2 during the years of 1991 late, 91 through 1994 early, right? What happened during that time span was they moved everybody out of Piedmont Court so they could renovate that into Southside homes. So you put two rival gangs together in the same project, and so fast forward 10 years, I get a call from a homicide detective. Some poor kid's been laying in a coma for the last 10 years. They knew he was going to die, so they never charged the guy that shot him. This homicide detective calls me and says, "Hey, Mark, we're investigating a shooting on Baltimore Avenue." I'm like, "Really?" "Yeah, you're going to have to come a little bit heavier than that, pal." I've been to 4 shootings on Baltimore Avenue in one day. So we dealt a lot. We had, it was gangland shootings. It was crazy, right? Then we had Piedmont Course when I was at 1. We had Earl Village. So, I've seen a lot of people shot in my career. Maybe I'm just lucky. I don't know. Never really thought anything about it. The Parkland High School shooting happens. This is how we tie this together, right? With PTSD and how weird this shit can affect you. Parkland High School shooting happens. I don't know where Parkland High School is. I don't know where Parkland, Florida is. Have no idea. I've got zero connection with it. The shooting happens. I go to bed that night. I'd watch the news, seen all that stuff. my eyes closed, I'm automatically doing a run to the gun. You guys have done the drills, right, with SWAT. You know, run to the gun. We're doing run to the gun with the SWAT guys down in a school. And I mean, I'm there. I am there. It's present. It's happening. This is the most real, the most vivid dreams I've ever had in my life. And every shooting victim that I've seen for the last 25 years is in that school. I can see them. The kid that bled out on us up on Beatty's Ford Road. I mean, I can put them, you know, Cherry Street. I can tell you where they were, where I dealt with them. I mean, it was the craziest shit stuff I hadn't even thought about in years. And it was present. It was happening. And I woke up and I'm like, holy shit, that was crazy. Thought, well, that was a fluke. Next night, go to bed. As soon as my eyes close, boom, I'm right back in it. 2 nights in a row, back to back. Weirdest thing. I mean, I was asymptomatic, hadn't had any problems leading up to that. Nothing. I was just me, just my normal asshole, right? I mean, I'm consistent. Got to give me credit for something, right? My dad told me, if you ever find something you're good at, stick with it. Been an asshole ever since. Okay? But I was asymptomatic, hadn't had any problems, and that happened, and that was my trigger for whatever reason. Woke up the next day, immediately. I mean, when I got up, I got the mental health number off my card, and I called, and I went and got help, right? Guys, if you have problems, you don't have to say shit to anybody. You don't have to tell anybody. Nobody has to know. Nobody would know now if I didn't say anything, right? The reason I'm putting this out there is I want you to know it's okay. It's absolutely okay, right, to go get help. Do that. Take care of you. Because if you don't take care of you, how good are you for your brother? Does that make sense? This is a team effort, guys. We're all in this together. How good are you for your family? If you're not willing to go get help for yourself, you know, don't be that guy that's just going to tough it out and wallow. Right? It's just not worth it. Yeah, hell yeah, it gets worse. I can only imagine where that was headed. I didn't want to go there because I didn't want to go back to some of the run-ins I had with Captain Thunderbird. So, this kind of wraps that up. I didn't mean to be a downer. I just wanted to, you know, this is real talk, right? This is how we get better. So there, I'm that guy. Not nearly as fun as Benny's class. If y'all weren't in Salisbury, you missed it. He was a lot of fun. We laughed a lot. It was a big party. There were fucking sombreros and glitter. And then y'all got me talking about PTSD, right? Suicide shit. I don't know. All right. Are there any questions? Anything? Throw it out there. I will answer almost anything.
What was your idea of size of a family? Or a single family?
Single family dwelling. Okay. 2 stories, single story, split level? Single story. Okay. Engine 4's on scene. 628 Hamilton Street. Familiar? Single story residential. It's going to be a working fire. From the AC corner. That doesn't work.
Drink one more beer.
yeah. From the AD corner. Engine 4 will be command. Engine 4 stretching the line. Engine 4 to engine 11. Lay me in line.
Damn it.
All right.
That means I gotta go to the house. Damn.
Command ladder 4. Well, ladder 1. Need you to make roof vent. Give me a primary. All right.
When you do that, where are you?
Where am I?
Physically, when you give those orders on the radio, where are you?
I'm making a lap. When I'm giving those orders, I'm probably on the backside coming back around. Barring a pit bull. Right, yeah. I mean, if there's a pit bull in the backyard, I'm not seeing the C division. I'm just not. I hope nothing bad is happening back there. I'm not going. I'm not that guy. Maybe some of you guys are. I don't know. If you're willing to get back here and wrestle with a damn dog to do a 360, good on you.
You're not sitting in the front seat, or you're not etching concrete in the front yard.
No, sir. Very dynamic. Very dynamic. So I was riding short one day when I was relief captain, and we pull up, and I give my size up. It's a working fire duplex apartment, and the one firefighter I've got on the back, he makes the stretch. We've got a hydrant in the front yard. It's a perfect environment. Driver's making the hook. Ladders coming in, but they're out. I'm kind of by myself for a little bit. So I'm up on the front porch. I've got my mask in my hand, and I hear the chief coming. I can hear the siren. The chief's gonna be second due. So I get on the radio and hey boss, you direct on all my tactical assignments. Yeah. So all right, when you get here, you got command. I'm in. Okay. So I go in, and because I was dynamic, because I was ready, I go in. And I notice there's no hose advancing, right? And the smoke is getting darker. So I go in, I find my firefighter is crouched down in the hallway. And it's getting progressively worse in the hallway. And I came up to him, I said, hey buddy, what you doing? He said, waiting. Waiting for what? You waiting for the Marines to storm the beach, or you waiting for, I don't know, Easter, the Easter Bunny to come around? What are you waiting for? Okay, let's change this train of thought. So I reached down, got a good hold of his air pack strap, and I said, have you got a good grip on that nozzle? Yes. Good, because you're going to need that right here in a minute. Drag him down the hallway to the fire, right? And I know that's a little harsh. And I know in today's age of political correctness and shit, some people would deem that as hazing or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you've got to be dynamic on the fire, and you've got to be ready to make that call, right? But no, the front seat officers, if you're a captain on an engine company, you are part of an engine company, right? You're part of it. You're an active member. You should be there with your people as soon as you can be. And you need to be doing things to support their function. Right? So, oh, a lot. Do you know who my drivers were? I mean, with the exception of Billy Wayne. Guys, I love Billy Wayne all over to death. If anybody knows him, tell him I said hey. But I had a driver that had a collision. We had to do paperwork because he collided with the roadway. He struck. He ran into Highway 277. Yeah, and I mean, tore the shit out of the truck. I mean, he collided with the interstate. But yeah, my drivers were incredibly important to me. Very much so. Very much so. But all of my guys had free reign, right? My guys were all eyes. And, but that's because we had faith in each other. My guys stayed off the radio. If one of my guys piped up and said something, by God, you better be listening. That's kind of important. Anybody else got anything?
Dad, what was your firefighter waiting for? Was that a training scar, or what was it?
I don't know. I think maybe his estrogen therapy hadn't kicked in yet or something. I don't know. He was just scared. I mean, he was just scared, and and that's just is. Not everybody's cut out for it, and it was bad. It was a bad environment, but it was a room and contents fire, and what he wasn't thinking was, if he had advanced another 20 feet, he could have made it all better. Once I threw him up in that room and he opened the nozzle, everything got better, right? It kind of sucked for him there for a little bit. It was a bumpy ride. It was not pleasant. But yeah, that's all it was. He was just scared. internal resources, right? I knew what I had on the back going to that fire. I'd already sized that up. That's why I was ready to go in. The folks I had on the other engine companies I worked for, hell, they didn't even need me there. They would have been better off if I hadn't showed up, right, most of the time. But I knew what I was dealing with on that one, so that's the thing. Just scared. It's okay. It's okay to be scared. It's a scary environment. It's dark and hot and shit, and people die doing it and everything. It's okay to be scared. Just don't be a fireman. Yeah, if you're scared of that shit, quit now. Save us all the agony, right? Just quit. Go do something else. Like be an oil change guy or something. It's light. You can see things. Anybody else? Nothing else?
Talk about your step off method.
My what?
Your step off.
I'm sorry.
Measure your stretch.
Oh my God.
I seen you just 29.
So, yes, man, I hadn't thought about that in years. I don't even remember it.
Every step you took.
Yeah.
Not every step. Every certain number of steps you took.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You figure out a method, and that's when I was doing it, Now I just don't even remember it. That's a good call. I had actually forgotten I did that. Yeah, when you walk, you didn't know how far it is between couplings. Speaking of that, positions on the line. Where are your people? How many people have been to a fire where you got two companies stacked up, asshole to elbow at the nozzle, and you get there, you got 6 people on the line, and the guy in the back is saying, "Hey, pull me some slack." Yeah, no, I'm not. No, absolutely not. Not going to do that. You can burn up in this hallway, and we're going to advance past you and go put this fire out. Right? Where are your positions on the line? How many Charlotte guys? How many people do we have on the back of the truck? 2, right? For the most part. And you've got an officer, right? You got one guy on the nozzle, 1 3/4 line. We're assuming a room and contents fire. You got one guy at the first coupling, right? If you've got one guy at the nozzle, one guy at the first coupling, if you've got that first coupling across the threshold, you've got 100 foot of hose to work with inside the house. And then the officer fills in from there, right? If you can't manage an 1 3/4 line by yourself on the nozzle, seriously, you need to A, get on a weight training program, B, find something else to do. An 1 3/4 line should be a one-person line all day. All day. One of my Captain Thunderbird stories is, you guys on the back want to race to every fire? Fine. Pull both lines. Pull both lines. You pull a line, you pull a line. Whoever gets to the front door first, that's when we'll charge. Hey, competition breeds results. You know what we got really damn good at? Pulling lines, right? Because I want to beat Kelvin. Right? So that's what we did. That's competition. So there's that. Anything else? Off. Absolutely off. You need to see, right? You need to see what's going on around you. You need to be able to look. You need to be constantly appraising what's happening around you. If you can't get to the front stoop, put your knee on the nozzle, drop your helmet, mask, hood up, helmet back on with your gloves on, that's a skill you need to practice. How hard is that to practice? You can do it in the firehouse all day, every day. You can do that. Right? Now, that's something else your captain can be doing for you. If you're worried about the second due company coming up and bumping you off that line, yeah, nobody's taking the line away from my guys. I'll promise you that. That wasn't going to happen. Right? That was part of my responsibility. I'll be the last one to get my mask on. Nobody's going to bump my guy off the line. It's a guarantee. Okay? So, yeah, put mask off. Anything else?
Captain Cox, talk about fitness. Now, I know you used to climb a lot of stairs downtown.
Yes, sir.
and being a busy company downtown and going up some of these towers, going out of service, were you ever concerned about that if you're saying you're up 20 floors and you got another company that has to pick up because you can't get back to the truck?
No, not really. And that's because I always checked with him first. Right? You know, I'd always call Benny. If he was going to go do some drills, he would call me, hey man, are you going anywhere? No, I'll be around. And what we do is float. So we'd get up to the square, so we're right in between the two districts. And I knew he was around. You know, he knew I was around. So if we were doing stuff, there was always communication. So, and I never one time entered a stairwell without keys. Right? Every building we went to climb stairs. And guys, just so you know, we used to climb stairs the second and fourth day of the tour. We'd run the first and third day of the tour. The second and fourth day of the tour, we'd climb stairs. We can run, you know, it's not going to beat us down that bad. But the second and fourth day, that gave us 2 days to recover. We would do it in PT gear. The fourth day, we would do it in turnout gear and high-rise packs, and we had 4 days to recover from it. So that was our game plan on that. But we always had keys. So we could always get out and gain access to the elevators, get down. We could be back in service like that. So, yeah, we always had an out. You know, I never went into a building burning or otherwise that I didn't have a way out of. So, good question. So, yeah, you know, I mean, it's just, yeah, if you go into a burning building, you've not already looked at how you're going to get the hell out of this thing, that's your fault. Right? That's your fault. Anything else?
Captain Cox, if you had one piece of advice to impart on us younger guys that are coming up through the fire service, what would that be before you left tonight?
Yeah, make it bigger.
One piece.
So, all right. So, guys, I apologize for this. I don't even have an electronic copy of this. So what I used to do is I used to give my guys, because I did this thing and it was typed, right? I had to make copies of it, so it was never a document. But I would always give my guys rules to live by or ways to avoid the bad mark, right? So, you know, and just so you guys be there, so we can all understand, you know, be on time every time. At 0800, you should be ready for duty, not getting ready for duty. Okay? Be on time every time. At 0800, you own the shift, right? That's a good way to start. Did I say anything about being in uniform? I don't give a shit about your uniform. Uniform's not going to affect how you fight fire. Uniform's not going to affect how you do CPR. Sorry, chiefs. Don't care about that. Doesn't matter, right? So don't care. If you're running on the treadmill, you know, as long as you've got your have-tos done, your gear secured, all that stuff is good. I don't care how you're dressed. An SCBA failure on a fire because you were too lazy to check it, inexcusable, right? Will not be tolerated. Take ownership of your cleanup area. Empty trash every day. Paper towels, toilet paper, report it. Don't leave it for the next guy. Why is that important? I mean, besides the fact I would really like for you guys to be able to wipe your ass and not walk around. Yeah, it's the little things. The little things that we don't do that add up to be big things. If you do the little things every single day, the big things will take care of themselves. If you develop good habits out of the gate and you do the little things, the big things take care of themselves. That's why toilet paper is important. Train like your life depends on it. We screw up the basics, you know, unacceptable. Won't be tolerated, right? And you will be expected to perform the basics on autopilot. Slow as smooth, smooth as fast, right? Basics. What are the basics? Catching a hydrant, right? Hooking an FDC. Advancing an attack line. Throwing a ground ladder. Running your tools. Doing that type stuff. The basics. The things that you learn in rookie school, you need to be able to do every one of those the day you retire. Okay? Every single day. Alright? Work as a team. No individuals allowed. This got me in trouble with a lot of people. Team praise, team discipline. If you do something awesome, look, nothing happens on the fire ground, right? On the fire ground, we handle the immediates right now. Everything happens inside the cab of the truck. If you do something awesome at a fire, I'm going to tell you in front of the crew. I want everybody to know. Everybody should know that you did something fantastic. That way they're hearing what you did. They want to emulate that. Likewise, if you screwed something up, this wasn't some closed door session back at the firehouse. We're going to take care of that shit in the engine company. When we get in there, shut the doors. Hey guys, look, this is what y'all did. We can't have this. I'm going to fix you in front of other guys. Why? Hell yes, because the other guy should not want to emulate that, right? I'm going to fix that one problem one time with 3 people. Done, right? Fix that. So team praise, team discipline. That chapped a lot of asses. So, and I didn't care. All right? Get promoted or train like you're preparing to get promoted. I'm not telling everybody you should want to be captain. If you're comfortable being a fireman and you're good at it, that is fine with me. Does anybody know Merrick Lee? I know you guys know Merrick Lee. All right, right? Merrick Lee retired as firefighter 2 grudgingly because he wanted to remain firefighter 1 because he thought he was going to get transferred if he made firefighter 2. Retired as a firefighter 2 off the back of engine 2. His whole career, 30 years on the back of engine 2 as a fireman. And whenever somebody talks about, whenever I hear the chiefs talking about, man, this person sucks because they're not trying to get promoted, blah, blah, blah. How about Merrick? Merrick knew everybody in the local. Everybody. You get dispatched to an address, they say, oh yeah, that's so-and-so's house, man. They're got, and he would give you the lowdown. He was damn good at what he did. Leave him alone. Right? But he trained every time the company trained. Never bitched, never complained, was a company man from start to finish. So train like you're trying to get promoted, or at least be ready to. Alright? PT is not mandatory, but again, don't let your lack of fitness be the deciding factor on a fire. I don't care if you work out or not, but don't come up to me looking for sympathy if you're sucking buttermilk at a fire, right? Not my problem. Alright? Here's one, I didn't know a better way to word this, y'all bear with me. We deal with lowest common denominator every day. You guys know who I'm talking about. Alright. Just accept it, that's what we do. You will perform like a professional and treat everyone with respect. That includes everyone, even medic. I'm not a wordsmith, guys. Know the area. Right? How simple is that? Know the area. Why is that important? Hell yeah, it does. If I know my area and your area, can I beat you into a fire? You damn right I can. The only thing better than putting out your own fire is putting out somebody else's. That's right. All right. If you're driving, I like being first in. If you can't get me first in, position this rig to get out. I want to be able to lead. Okay? If you reverse out, set up the relay pump. Be really good at hitting FDCs. Remember, I worked uptown. Everything we did, we hit FDCs. Benny alluded to it at his thing. If Benny was first into the fire, oh, thank you guys. If Benny was first into the fire, right, we're out there hitting FDC for his building. He's doing the same thing for us. We've already flushed the hydrant. We're not hooking to the hydrant, but we've already flushed it. We put our lines to the FDC. Okay? That give us practice, and if he had got into a shit show, we were able to support it. Okay? This is the one that kind of got me in trouble a couple times. If you charge an attack line before I call for water, if you're driving and you charge an attack line before I call for water, before I get back to the company, you might want to be thinking about where you want to go work. Because when we get back to the station, you're putting in a transfer. You're leaving. I'll promise you that. It's non-negotiable. Absolutely non-negotiable. You do not charge a line because you think it's time to charge a line. trust me, I will tell you when it's time to charge line. If you're an officer that doesn't do that, if you don't have that established, don't ever bitch when you're trying to get up a flight of stairs and now you've got a wet line to deal with. You need to establish that right now. But that was my one non-negotiable that would absolutely get you transferred today. We're putting it in as soon as we get back to the station. Don't drive faster than you can think. Okay? Generate a fuel ticket every single day. 2 gallons, 22 gallons, generate a fuel ticket. If you bust a call, as soon as you get there, if you've got a fuel ticket for 2 gallons, if you have to call for a fuel truck, nobody's going to ask any questions. Right? So just be aware of that. Try to learn something every day. Okay? Look for ways to improve your skill set. Then teach me, because I'm still trying to learn as well. Right? Have fun. We're firemen. Right? Kind of important. If any of these offend you, read them again. Guess what? It's our job. Every day you should bring your A game. That's the least we can do for the others on the rig. If you fail at any of these, the above statements, the team suffers. My goal is to be part of the go-to company city-wide. I hope all of you are on the same page. If anyone is on the rig, any one of the company is on the rig, the company should operate the same every day. If there's one person from that assignment that's there, the company should run the same. All of my relief captains were advised, if my guys are there, you just hang on. It'll be okay. You take care of the paperwork, they're going to take care of you. Don't come in here trying to change shit. Okay? So, but what was this? That was clear and concise. That way you know, as a fireman working for me, when you come in, right, we're going to meet, we're going to sit around and shoot shit for a little bit, and I'm going to get to know you, and then we're going to sit down with the company, and they're going to pull out their copies of this, and we're all going to sit around and talk about it. But everybody knew when they came, these are the expectations. There's no questions. There's no gray area. It just is, right? It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to work for me. Right? That's why everybody that worked for me is a captain now, or chief. Right? It's hard. But I wanted them to be held to a higher standard. You know why? Because I didn't want to die doing this job. And I was only as good as my weakest man. Or woman. I had some females and they were awesome, right? So, that's the thing, man. Just does that help? Yeah. So, but if you're an officer and you don't do this for your people, if you're just, holding your magic scepter of power over them, that, you're the captain, nobody cares, right? Let them know what the rules are. Don't come up at when it's performance review time and drop a bomb on them. You suck doing this. You suck doing that. You suck doing this. How about you fix that shit at the fireground? How about you fix it that day? Don't wait 6 months to drop that bomb, right? Let everybody know what the expectations are, and guess what? They'll help you. Or they'll leave. Good riddance. Anything else? I'm pretty sensitive. No? That's it? All right, guys. Let's call it. That's a wrap.
All right, everybody. First things first. I know I am standing up, doing the best I can. I know y'all got to look down on me. At 9:30 is the drawing for the 50-50. So 9:30 is the drawing for the 50-50. But I want y'all to know, even though I never was assigned to Station 1, it was always fun as hell to always ride 57 to go into 1's area and fight fire. 1 come into 7's area and fight fire. It's an honor and a blessing for me just to be able to call a man or Facebook a man or ask him, hey, please come and speak. Because there's some people in this room, and I counted 57 at the beginning, and some have added on since then, so we're up to 63. There's people in this room that would never experience some of the stuff that we have experienced, being able to ride the back of either one. We have people, and I'm on a company so I can say it. Jacob and Adam is here. Chief Hunter Mark. Our computer goes off every single day, and we have changed out the router by God knows how many times. So it is nice to know that I can still beat Merrill to Reagan and Sugar Creek. I tell them all, I'm sorry, Merrill. I didn't say that, Merrill. And I'm going to live with that forever. That's one time. But no, when you have people in this room, for those of you that have 5 years or less, there is not a damn thing any one of y'all can say as far as experience goes. I have 2 females from a different department that experience this stuff different day than any of us have ever experienced. They ride the back of the fire truck. They ride the front of the fire truck. Everyone in this room comes from different departments, whether it's paid or volunteer, but we're all still firefighters. And that's what we're here for. That's what this has all started. And it has all started because of you. And if you go back to work and you're only worried about your name, then you're the ones that are killing the brotherhood. It is those of us that have to carry on the tradition, because sooner or later these people will retire or have retired. And there's not a damn one of us at the Charlotte Fire Department, because that's where I work full time, that can stand up and say, I know as much or more than these 2. Or the chiefs, because of where they come from, what they've done, what they've seen, because they rode the fire trucks uptown. I can remember riding the fire truck and the captain said, let's go and walk the stairs, not only for exercise, but because they're building the damn high-rise of Bank of America or Panther Stadium or any other of these new places that nobody has ever experienced because they were being built at that time. That's where we're doing a disservice. Riding the fire truck and worried about that computer. How many times that computer go out on us, Jacob? When the guy from the shop told me, man, you lying. It don't ever go down. Watch this. The remote might have flew a little bit, just saying. We'll discuss that later. Know how to read a map. Know what you got going against you. Know that there's a 4-beat 11 in 4's area. As 18 talked smack one night about beating me into their area right behind the damn station. By God, you should be able to get to damn Booker Street. By God, Merrill better be able to get to 35th tomorrow because I'm a-coming. You damn right you can. This is your show. I'm trying to kill it till 9:30.
Rusty, come here. Come here for a second. I don't know who else was there. I know Benny and I were the original, the plank holders meeting for the Fools, right? Scott, were you there? Okay. All right, so the original meeting for the Fools, so I know that Benny and I were there. Chief Wilson was there. There were several of us that were at that meeting, the original, the first official meeting. And we were members of International before there was a local chapter. So when the downfall for me of the original chapter, and you know, we'll just go ahead and put it out there. So I want you guys to hear this. If you got a minute. I needed a return on my investment. Lauren was still little at the time, and if I was going to, you know, I'm already gone 10 days a month. So if I was going to give up a night to go and do something, I wanted to do this. I wanted a return on my investment of time. I love getting together and hanging out with the guys, right? That's fun. But give me something. Give me something back. This is exactly what I wanted from the Fools chapter, and that's why I got out, right? That's why I just let it slip, and that's why the chapter failed. You know, you had some guys get in there and do some good work, you know, had the convention and did all that stuff here, but they were fighting an upstream battle. So I want to wish you luck. But guys, if you can get behind Tactics on Tap, this is awesome, by the way, guys, that you're doing this. And the Bulls, if y'all can tie this together somehow, join the Bulls chapter, guys. Get training when you can. Don't ever limit yourself on being exposed to training. So I just wanted to let you know because I was there, and I wanted to let you know what happened, because that was probably before you were born too. But that's okay.
All right, so Joe Yowler from Twisted Fire Industries would like to speak for a little bit about a few things.
All right, so I got 3 things. First thing with the Bulls chapter, guys. Like I said before, there was a black eye that happened. We got to fix it, get behind it. We've teamed up with Rusty to try to rejuvenate this. We have to do it as a group. Get with them tonight, fill out an application, pay your dues. Let's make this stuff happen. More training events. Let's go. The second thing I have on more of a serious note, so I can put this back up. For ones that don't know who that is, those are my daughters, well, 2 of the 3, and my wife. You can tell she's involved. How many firefighters do we have in this room? Raise your hand. Raise your damn hands. How many of you have a spouse? Keep your hand up. How many of your spouses are here tonight? Why? I talked to Captain Cox's wife, and if you read this post, this thing will work. Right here, my wife put this up in January after seeing me speak for the first time in 10 years. And it changed her. Well, I talked to Captain Cox's wife and I asked her, I said, how many times have you seen your husband speak on a topic like this in this kind of forum? Who wants to believe this is the first time she's ever seen him speak? This is the first time she's ever seen him speak on this forum. And the comments that she has, how it's changing her, or she saw Benny talk and she wanted to be here and bring the kids here. It's a big thing. We have to get our spouses involved. Bring your spouses out to these events. Got it?
Yeah.
If you want to get your spouses involved, get my wife involved with the contact. She's putting a team together, and it doesn't matter who you are, what they do. We got to make a team to get this information and get these kind of events into our area. Come to the meetings on July 9th and 10th. We'll have more about that. The second thing, and I'll leave this up for anybody that wants to read it, but the second thing I want to talk about, I need Chad just to be my shield for bullet fire. So Chad is helping us plan an event in Belmont, and we had a speaker vacancy, and throughout the night we've been talking back and forth about it, and Chief Folk and Chief Hunter have been ideas that have come up, and I want to go ahead and just square it up and give them each a sticker to start off with. And then the rest of the group, whose name do we need to write in this board for August 9th to have either Chief Folk or Chief Hunter speak for us?
Why not both of them?
You guys want to do both?
Let's do both of them.
Who we doing, Chief? All right, but that's what we got to do. You guys want more of these events? Get with us. Chad's one of our guys. He took Belmont for us. He's handling all the setup, finding location, getting the speakers, 9 yards. You want these in your areas? Get with us and let's make it happen. We're not going to do this stuff unless we do it together. Got it? 9:30, we're calling 50-50. If you want some stuff, get it. Tip the bartenders. Thanks for coming.